All right, Long Beach. LBC, if you saw the title card, what the fuck is going on? Um, this is a very tricky track in itself, but with the Ray, uh, this is really the strangest thing I've encountered so far with it. Tall stack or short stack. It's really a bit of a toss up, and we'll get into that here in a minute. We'll just go through the settings here at the top. So uh, iRacing setup has it well as a standard gear stack. I've lowered the ride height, I think, just a smidge. Brake bias is turned up a little bit. I'm usually around 57 and a half. I've turned it up to 58. I find it pretty easy to lock up here, so that's an individual thing. But if you're locking up, turn up that brake bias. Uh, Front springs soft as they go. Toe is turned in. A lot of sharp corners here. Um, Rear springs soft as they go. Toe in is not so much there. And if you follow my channel, you know I like to play around with the camber, but this track really not a whole lot of playing around. Just the right front flattened it out a little bit more than the left, but basically it's pretty even all around. I know that will make some people happy. Um, so the bottom half here, there we go. Um, Ride height is 3 mils higher than the front. That's just to give the car some more rotation. If you want more oversteer in the car, if you want more rotation, I don't think you'd want to crank the ride height up any more than what it is. So you might want to change that ARB to 15, or you could stiffen up the rear suspension. I think 42 newtons is the next step up. That will definitely give you more rotation in the car. You will lose some grip in the back. Um, Compression front and back is all the same. And then here is the big thing: standard or tall. So standard is what iRacing has it set at. It is fine and dandy. The problem is in the start finish straight, you reach the rev limit not a long way before the turn or the braking marker, but certainly a fair bit in front of the braking marker, and that is without a draft. That is not in a race. So when you're in a race, I think there is going to be you're going to be maxed out well before the braking marker if you're drafting off someone. So the tall uh, actually reaches the rev limit pretty much at the braking point. Um, the gearing through the corners is exactly the same. It's just you might brake just a smidge early with the tall because you've got maybe a little bit more speed going in. With the standard, you're going to accelerate a little better on the way out. Um, so it's really I am perplexed. I don't even know um, how I'm going to start the week with a standard or tall. I don't know. So leave a comment there if you tried them out, see which one you like better. Let me know if you found better pace in one or the other, or in a race, if the standard left you high and dry trying to pass someone on the straight, or if the tall you were getting killed by people accelerating more than you. So we'll get into the guide itself. Track is 20 degrees, so pretty grippy. I've seen it as low as 18, and probably there'll be some 24s or 26s out there. Watch out for those higher temps. Grip is going to disappear a fair bit more. So just before we get going, 124.8. This is with a standard gear stack. With the tall gear stack, my best time was a 124.85, so 500ths difference, which I don't know what is. That's like a blink. Um, so it's not a lot of difference um, in lap time, but draft time, I think it's gonna play a role, but I'm not 100% sure. So we'll get into this. Just a quick note: when you're coming along the straight here after the start line, if you're on the inside line here, it is quicker. but it is a bit bumpy, and there's a couple of bumps there where your back end might give you just a little bit of a wiggle. Don't panic. It's not terrible, but just don't be caught by surprise. If you're new to Long Beach, if you haven't driven it before, very demanding track. Mistakes basically put you in the pits. There's not a lot of forgiveness here. A lot of fun to drive. Races can be pretty darn fun if it's clean and everything works well, but can be pretty crashy as well. If you're practicing this for the first time, don't try and save the car if you brake too late, if you missed your braking mark or whatever. Don't crank the wheel and try and make a corner. Just keep on the brakes. Save the car. Don't smash into the wall. Save yourself from having to go back to the pits with a full tank of fuel and cold tires. If you're learning this for the first time, it can be pretty frustrating. Do 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 laps, crash. Do another 2 or 3 or 4 laps and crash. So don't try and be a hero. If you're not going to make the corner, just get on the brakes and keep it out of the wall and live to fight another day. So turn 1, looking for the 400 board. So yeah, as you can see, I'm already at the rev limit, and this is a long way before the braking zone, and this is with a standard stack. So I think tall might be the way to go. So anyway, looking for the 400 board. Don't get into the bad habit that I have of looking for this white line. It is a good marker. However, if there is a car in front of you, you will not see it. So the 400 board is your best bet. Hard on the brakes, 4th gear, down down into 2nd, really hard on the brakes, and basically you want to make sure you're getting the brakes released and picking up some throttle here before the apex, ideally. I got on the curbs here a little on the high side. Not my favorite thing to do. I like to keep it on the flat part of the curb there, but it won't kill you if you get onto that high side of it. And yeah, just picking up the throttle just to get some load into the back end, so you're not sliding too wide. Watch out on cold tires. That is a deadly corner. And then up into 2nd gear, looking for the Acura sign here on the left. Getting on the brakes pretty hard. Down into 1st. You can go into this deeper, but you will lose so much time on exit. 2-3 tenths easily, 4 tenths. Getting onto the curb here, releasing the brake and picking up the throttle as early as possible, and that will get you through here quick. And then just unwinding the wheel as much as you dare to get as close to this wall as you can, and then switching back over to the left, shifting up into 2nd, looking for the end of this black stuff here, this black barrier guard, getting on, or lifting at the end of the black barrier here. Cold tires, you may want to just dab the brakes. It can be pretty slick, or if the track temp is really high. Again, ideally I'd be on the flat part of the curb here. It took a little more than I wanted, but again, not the end of the world. And then working up into 3rd and looking for the black signs up here. iRacing used to, they repainted this. There used to be lots of race damage on the wall here that you could use as a braking marker, but it's all painted over. So about 2-3 car lengths in front of this black sign. Getting on the brakes pretty good, down into 2nd, and getting the car turned in. Now, you can cut this corner more. You can go over these curbs more. A lot of people do, and it's probably faster. However, you have to practice that, and I think you may have to increase the ride height a bit. If you do it correctly, it is faster. If you do it incorrectly, you are going to be into the signs here in the wall. So I don't do it. I get on the edge of these curbs, and yeah, I find it's just a more consistent, safer bet. So you're going uphill right now, and at the end of these curbs, you're now leveling off, and you're going downhill, and it's off camber. So really best case scenario for racing, off camber downhill. So you have to make sure the car is turned in by the end of these curbs. You want to be pointing towards the black sign here. If you are straight, if your car is not rotating at this point, you're gonna say hello to that wall. So again, just get on the brakes and save your car. But if you've got the car already turned by the end of those curbs, it will grip up and you will not crash into the wall. This is a pretty crashy one though. Well, every corner on here is pretty crashy on cold tires, so watch out for that. Second gear going up into third. Looking for the 200 board. Third gear, so again, standard stack, I'm at the rev limit. You might be able to shift up into fourth for a brief second or two. But on a tall gear stack, you're not at the rev limit, so it's a tough one. 200 board just before the 200 board, hard on the brakes, down into second. You really have to get the car slowed down and release the brakes before the apex here, and hopefully picking up the throttle. Really important to get to the apex here. If you run wide here, you'll lose a lot of time. So picking up that throttle, unwinding the wheel. I don't like to have the car go out all the way to the wall, because you got to get yourself way back over to the left, and it just kind of extends the track. So that's my preference. So next one is rinse and repeat. Same thing as the last corner. Looking for the 200 board in third gear, shifting down into second. Hard on the brakes, not holding them as long. Releasing the brakes, getting turned in, cutting this corner as much as possible. I don't even know why these curbs are here. There's no X, no penalty. Getting as close to this wall as you can, and picking up the throttle as early as possible. If you mess up this corner, you will cost yourself so much time in this straight, and if the people behind you did not mess it up, they are going to just run by you. So coming into the next one, looking for the 300 board, probably about 350, getting hard on the brakes, down into second gear, and this one is trickier than it looks. So you see here by about the 100 board, the track is now going downhill, and it's off camber again on the left side here. So if you've gone in deep, and you're going to be in trouble. The car is going to be so easy to spin out here. You have to have the car slowed down and turned in, at that 100 board. If you're past that 100 board, your grip is going to go out the window. Turning in, I came in here a little hot, getting onto these curbs, getting onto these rumble curbs, I find is probably the best way to go. If you cut this corner too much, I do think you get a penalty, but I'm not 100% sure on that. And then just picking up the throttle as early as you can and running it out fairly wide here. Cold tires, you're going to get a little closer to that wall. And then looking for this Firestone bridge, basically going to lift. Cold tires, you probably don't even need the brakes either, but lifting. And then getting onto the red and white curb here. The rumble strips, I find, are going to disrupt the car a bit, probably cause you to drift out a little wider than you want. And then just managing the throttle through here. If you're too aggressive, you can slide really wide. And basically shifting down into first, and as soon as you're following the curbs here, the red and white curb, and as soon as the wheel, this is voodoo, this corner, as soon as the wheel is straight, I'm just lifting there, as soon as the wheel is straight, getting on the brakes in first gear, pretty hard on the brakes, and turning in. Now, you have to also watch out for, there's going to be people who want to go in a lot deeper here and cut back sharper. So watch out for that. There may be people braking differently into this corner and turning in differently into this corner. So watch out. You don't want this is an easy one to crash. and then just keeping it tight along that advertisement there. You have to watch the throttle as you're picking it up here, especially if you're onto that curb. It is easy to spin up the back tires in first gear, especially with the standard stack. So that's another benefit of the tall stack. When you get on the gas in first gear through that corner, it is not nearly as easy to spin up the back as it is in the standard gear stack. So, something to keep in mind. You might want to have a try at standard and tall, and then just making your way to the line. You just have to watch out if you're hugging the right hand side here, especially around the start finish here. There are some bumps in the road that can be a little disruptive, so watch out for that. So yeah, that's a 124.8 with a standard. So that's up to you. I'll leave that up to you guys, but fire me a comment. Let me know what you ended up going with, and I'd be interested to know. All right, we'll see you next time. We'll run this out at full speed.